Good is get you. It's your boy Sam back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're gonna be doing a tier list of the power forward position in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. Now, this list shouldn't take me too long because a lot of the guys I put at the small forward position instead of the power forward position. I'm just gonna give you guys an example: Scottie Pippen, Robert Covington, right? If you want to run them at the 4, you can, but to me, they're basically only small forwards. Guys like Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, that I do believe can do a little bit more, they're going to be on this list. At least Kevin Durant. I don't know if Jason Tatum's on this list, but yeah, he is. I just used him as an example because I think those guys can play power forward just a little bit better. Now, before I dive any further, smash that subscribe button. We're on the road towards 130,000 subscribers. Starting off with Al Horford. I mean, I got Al Horford in a pack the other day, and I've used the card. To say I've been not that impressed would be an understatement. Like, I don't want to sit here and say he's bad, because I don't think he's horrible. But I've just not been impressed. He's fine defensively. I just feel like rebounding-wise isn't great. Offensively, he can shoot, but that's about it. He's undersized. There's just not a lot. His movement is not good. He can't dribble at all. There's just not a lot of pros, in my opinion, to using a guy like Al Horford, right? Obviously, his interior defense is pretty solid, pretty decent, so he's going to get you some paint stops occasionally. But outside of that, I'm not the biggest Al Horford fan in my team. Lonzo Mourning up next. I think he's better at center. He's going to be on my center tier list. At the power forward position, I'll put him at B tier. He's a card you can use, you can run, you can have success with him, but shooting the ball is not great with him. Number one, because he's got a 65 3 ball, and number two, because of his release. His release is not great, not ideal. So those two things are why he can't be any higher. Again, if you want to run Alonzo Mourning, do what you guys got to do. I just do not love the card in general. Amari Stoudemire, I'm going to go B tier as well. And to me, Amari Stoudemire and Al Horford are somewhat similar. The difference is Amari, in my opinion, has a better release, right? Al Horford defensively is going to be better. And so that's kind of the big difference to me. I do not mind either card. To me, I think Amari might be the better overall card. But with as good as Al Horford is on the defensive end of the court, they are both B tier. Bam Adebayo up next. Easily A tier, borderline S tier. Like, by the end of this video, he might get moved up to S tier. I think as far as complete power forwards in my team is concerned, Bam's one of the best, okay? Because defensively, he's going to be elite. Doesn't have a super high 3 ball, but with that release, you can green basically every shot you take with him. Bam, really solid A tier. Chris Webber, another A tier card. I really like Chris Webber, and it starts with his release. Again, a decent release, at least in my opinion. And when you're comparing him to Al Horford Amari, I just think he does more for you on the court. Now, do I like Chris Webber more, or do I like Bam more? I personally, again, this is my personal opinion, I like Bam more, just because he's going to play more defense. But some people might like Chris Webber more, and that is A-okay. Dennis Rodman up next. I mean, if you look at the stats of Dennis Rodman, it is not good. Now, the one thing I will say for Dennis Rodman is I've played against him, and man, rebounding wise, he is an issue. So I'm going to put him at C tier right now. If you got him in the promo set, I'm sorry because he's not great, but he does rebound the ball really well. Derek Coleman up next. I mean, he can shoot the ball well. Outside of that, not great. I'm going to put him at C tier, though, because he does still shoot the ball well. And for that, I got to put some respect on Derek Coleman's name. Dirk up next. I'm going to throw Dirk at B tier. Look, I know Dirk is super slow, okay? And nothing is ever going to really, debate. Nobody's going to ever debate that. But outside of that, right, Dirk shoots the ball well. He's 7'1", decent frame. Like, he does some things good for you. He's not perfect, not even close to being perfect, but he is going to shoot the ball extremely well. And for that, I'll put him at B tier. Kevin Durant, even at the power forward position, is S tier. Is he worth locking in? Absolutely not. But if you do lock him in, again, I wouldn't recommend it. You got an S tier small forward, you got an S tier power forward. So honestly, guys, play Kevin Durant wherever you want if you've got the card. Again, I'm not gonna get him, never will, never have, but he is S tier. Another S tier card, Chris Bosh. It's crazy how many people are struggling with Chris Bosh's release, okay? And it's not just me, it's not just you guys. I mean, you might be one of the rare people that are good with it. Even everybody I play in my team Unlimited or Triple Threat, like, people struggle with Chris Bosh if they're using him, okay? He's absolutely elite on both ends of the court. I just wish his release was that little bit smoother. That's the only ask I have for Chris Bosh. Everything else, I think he does at an extremely high level. Anthony Davis up next. I'm throwing him at S tier too. Okay, these might be the only 3 guys at S tier. We'll have to see if anybody else is added. But I'm telling you guys right now, these 3 guys are absolutely elite in my team. And guys that I'm just a big fan of, right? All these 3 make the best squad in my team right now. And so yeah, if you're not having these guys at your S tier, I think you're doing something wrong. Blake Griffin up next, A tier. And I like Blake Griffin, okay? I really do. But I think there's tiers that separate them. And I think he's more on the Bam and Chris Webber tier compared to the KD and AD tier. That's my personal opinion on things. I just feel like Blake is all around good, but there isn't really a need for what he provides, right? In the past, Blake's been one of the best stretch bigs that can handle the ball, do what he's got to do. But it's like at this stage, we've already got AD. We've already got Chris Bosh. Like, there's just no need for Blake Griffin in my team. All right, let's get some garbage men in here, okay? Horace Grant, you are horrible, D tier, maybe even F tier. Alvin Adams, you are F tier, you are horrible. Elton Brand, you are horrible, F tier. Tom Chambers really stinks. He's going D tier. Like, we've got to get some garbage men in here because we've got some on this list and we need to clear some house, okay? Kevin Love up next. Look, I'll throw Kevin Love at B tier. And I want to say this. Kevin Love, I'm sorry, okay? I gassed how bad you are, okay? I did. Your release is incredible. You rebound the ball decently. Honestly, I'm sorry for saying you were worse than you are because you're not that bad. Are you great? No. Not going to sit here and sugarcoat things and say, you know, you're the best power forward center in my team because you're not. But you can play at a decent level, and for that, I'll throw you a B tier. Not a card I love, not a card I want to run on my nobody spent for a super long time, but definitely a card that can hang around for a while just because he is going to shoot the ball well. That's the big thing for Kevin Love. He's going to shoot, he has a good release, that's what he gives you. Zebo, I'll go C tier. Like Zach Randolph, his release is slow. The way you got to play with him is in the post, and I just feel like the majority of people don't want to play like that. He's C tier for me. I'm not a big fan of him. Cat up next, and is Cat A tier? I think Cat's A tier. I'm going to throw Cat at A tier. Look, his release, not great. Not going to try to sugarcoat things. It's not great. But he does a lot for you guys because he's got a good speed rating. You just got to use Cat not as far as guarding the post. If you have him up guarding Shaq, he is going to struggle. But if you play him at the power forward position, you're probably going to have a lot of success with the Cat. At least that's kind of my experience with things thus far with Big Cat in my team. A tier is where I've got him. Jermaine O'Neal up next. I mean, look, guys, for Jermaine O'Neal, it's just, to me, tough. Like, how good truly is he? I think B tier is where I gotta put him. Like, I don't think the card is horrible. I don't think he's a card you can't run because he does compete on the interior and he has a decent enough release. But is he that next level good? No. Like, even on my No Money Spent squad series, I play, you know, Kevin Love and Al Horford right there with Jermaine O'Neal. I think they're all about that same type of level. They're all B tier, and it goes back to my whole point. Like, in my team right now, I feel like it's so easy to have a decent squad being No Money Spent. The problem is, you're not going to get the KDs, Chris Boshes, I guess you could get Chris Bosh, but you're not going to get the KDs of the world being No Money Spent. Serge Ibaka up next. I'm throwing him in A tier. Serge Ibaka, with him, it all starts and ends with that great player model, player build. If you've not played against Serge Ibaka, man, trust me, his player model is ridiculous. Now, is he perfect on the court? No, I'm not going to sit here and say he is. Like, I think his speed's not that great. You know, his badges aren't as good as I would like. But he's going to be able to stretch the court. His player model is elite, so he's going to be able to at least compete on the interior. And I think for his price, he isn't horrible. Now, are there cards I prefer to Serge Ibaka? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, you know, he's the best big in the game. But when it comes down to it, he's probably the best Ruby big in my team right now. Austin Crochet up next. I'm actually going to go C tier with this card. He's not that bad, okay? He can shoot the ball, and even if you look at his stats, they're not that bad. Is he great? Is he a card I would recommend you guys running? No, but he has decent height, and he's going to shoot the ball well. And so if you are just starting my team and really want, you know, a real budget option, there you guys go in Austin Crochet. Larry Bird up next at the power forward position. I don't know. It's just, I feel like if somebody has small forward eligibility, I hate running them at the power forward position. But I do think he's A tier. I do. He's going to shoot the ball well. He plays decent enough defense. I do believe if I had Larry Bird, he'd play for me on my No Money Spent Squad series. I think A tier is where he belongs. A tier above Kevin Love, a tier above Al Horford. I think that's probably right. Zion up next. I mean B tier. Here's the deal with Zion. Nah, he's 6'6". He can dunk the ball, but defensively he's not great. I'm sorry, Zion. You got to go in B tier, but I don't love the card. Like, I can't put him in C tier because honestly, guys, C tier and lower are cards I really don't recommend. But the more I'm looking at Zion, the more I think he's C tier. Like, I'm going to leave him at B tier, but I am not a big fan of Zion. So make sure you guys hear me out on that. Draymond Green, even without the duo, is A tier. I don't care, man. Y'all can get mad at me all y'all want. Oh my gosh, Ty, you're running Draymond Green over Kevin Love. Yes, he's way better. Even defensively, it's not even comparable, not even close. And if you have the duo, guys, Draymond Green then becomes S tier. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. Without the duo, A tier. With the duo, S tier. I love Draymond Green in my team, but again, I love defense, so take that for what it's worth. Steve Novak up next, D tier. The only reason he's not F tier is because he shoots the ball decent, but even Austin Croshere is better than Steve Novak in my team. I'm just telling you guys, throwing that out there for you guys, so don't be surprised because that is actually where he belongs, okay? I'm not just sitting here, sugarcoating things. That's where Steve Novak belongs, D tier. Shawn Kemp just became interesting. He's A tier, but he's super interested and intriguing now that we know Mitch Richmond is going to be a grind that you guys can grind out for free. So you get Mitch Richmond, you add some of the other pieces. Is Shawn Kemp worth it? I mean, still probably not unless you have multiple of the Sapphires. Then you can make the case he's worth it. But he is still really solid in my team. The whole debate is he better than Anthony Davis? That should have never been a debate. No, because it's not even close. AD clears him. But Shawn Kemp is solid in his own right. Thurl Bailey up next, C tier. I just wish he could shoot the ball better. Okay, 6'11" at the 4 is a good frame. Just wish he could shoot the ball a little bit better. John Collins, not a fan of him, C tier. Again, he's fine, but I'm not the biggest fan of him. Grant Williams at the 4, D tier, undersized. I just don't really see it with the card. Jerry Lucas at the 4, I'm going B tier. To me, he's an off-brand Kevin Love. Shoots the ball really well, has a good release. If you need him for salary cap, stuff like that, he's going to shoot the ball well for you guys. Next up, guys, Giannis Sapphire. I mean, look. Sapphire Giannis badge-wise is absolutely elite. The problem is, his 3-ball is not great. His stats aren't great. I gotta go C tier with him, but I don't mind Sapphire Giannis. Ruby Giannis, A tier is where he belongs. He is still incredible because of his frame. I just wish he could shoot the ball a little bit better. Because he's just inconsistent, right? If you're running Giannis, people are basically going to let you shoot with him. And yes, if you knock down shots, you're going to be just fine. But if you're missing with Giannis, there is going to be issues in my team. Isaiah Mobley up next. I'm going to go C tier. The card's not bad, though. People have used him against me and cooked me with him because he does have a good release. Do I love him? No, but people have cooked me with him. Jabari Smith Jr. up next, B tier. I don't hate him. He just gets defensively dogged. And when I say that, I mean that. Like, the amount of standing dunks against him is just so sad. The amount of lack of rebounds is sad. Do not love Jabari Smith Jr. in my team. Jaren Jackson Jr. at the power forward position. I think I got to go A tier. And here's why, guys. His player model is absolutely ridiculous, and he does knock down shots. So those two things, I mean, he's got to be A tier for me. Do I like Bam more than him? Yes, but I do think Jaren belongs in that A tier. Jason Tatum, even at the power forward position, A tier. Again, if you don't believe me, look at Jason Tatum's stats and badges. And this is coming from somebody in me. I don't run Jason Tatum. I don't have Jason Tatum, but I do respect his game enough to put him at A tier. Jordan Walsh, I'm going B tier. I really like Jay Walsh, man. Shoots the ball well, plays good defense. Is he, in my opinion, as good as Caleb, Al Horford? I don't think so. I think those cards are better, but I do think they are on the same level. Julius Randle up next, B tier. I got Julius Randle on both accounts. He's fine. You can use him, have some success with him. But at the end of the day, I do think he's B tier. Karl Malone, B tier. Pretty self-explanatory. Marcus Aldridge, not good. Like, I really don't like LaMarcus Aldridge. I put him at C tier, but I'm not a fan of the card. Matt Bonner, D tier. Gonna shoot the ball well. Outside of that, does nothing for you on the court. Lamar Odom does a little bit of everything. I'm throwing Lamar Odom at B tier. I have no issues if you guys want to go use Lamar Odom. Smooth release, does everything at a pretty solid level in my team. Easy addition in B tier. Larry Marketing, a card I like. Okay, he's long, lengthy, can play the 4. I'm going A tier for Larry. A lot of people not going to necessarily like that, not going to agree with me on that, and that is okay. But I'm telling you, Larry's size does a lot for me in my team. Sean Marion, last, certainly not least. I guess I'll go A tier. Look, I don't love his release, but I do think if you have Diamond Sean Marion, it's worth running him. And that's coming from somebody in me who, I mean, I don't love what the card gives you as far as an overall card, but I respect it, right? I mean, I think if you can green with this card, he is really solid in my team. That's going to wrap it up for our Power 4 tier list today, guys. You guys can let me know your thoughts and opinions on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.